Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Christian Hanna here, and today I want to talk to you guys about Two Evil Eyes. Now, this is the new 3-disc Blue Underground 4K restoration that was just put out, and I'm going to talk about this movie a little bit, and I'm going to tell you guys about this release itself, because Blue Underground is basically the Sammy Sosa of classic horror releases, just home runs after home runs with their releases. They're so great, but we'll talk about that more. So Two Evil Eyes is more or less a anthology movie with George Romero and Dario Argento that kind of isn't an anthology, and I'll tell you why. Long story short, Dario kind of conceptualized this idea where he wanted to get, John Carpenter and obviously George Romero, who did do this, and even Wes Craven, among others. I think Stephen King was also mentioned, to do an anthology piece based on Edgar Allan Poe stories, which sounds like a great idea, right? It just didn't turn out, but Dario and George decided to say, let's just do this, and they went for it, and then they made this movie, Two Evil Eyes. So Two Evil Eyes starts with George Romero's movie and then goes into Dario's. And George Romero's movie is about a trophy wife that basically tries to, get all the money from her old sick husband and kind of gets antsy, so she gets a guy who she's also having a fling with to try to hypnotize the old man to sign away his rights to give her the money now. And things get unfortunate for them, almost has a slight Creepshow feel to it. And then Dario's is called The Black Cat, but I was quite surprised because I was kind of bored with Black Cats. I'd already seen a great Black Cat episode in Tales from the Dark Side, the movie, right? There's a lot more to this. The Black Cat is more so about a man who is a crime photographer, is what it seems like. The opening shot was just ridiculously horrifying. His girlfriend gets this black cat who he does not like, and turns into arguments and fights, and to where the girlfriend does not have a fateful ending for herself, but then he tries to get away with this crime, and things get wild, and I'll leave it at that because it's a fantastic story. What's interesting about this is there's no wraparound. It doesn't feel like an anthology horror movie because there is no, for instance, in Tales from the Dark Side, the movie, there's the kid in the cellar in the woman's kitchen, and he's telling the stories, and that's how we go into the segments. This just kind of starts. It starts with George Romero's story. It almost feels like this movie is a work print edition, if you will. Like, they've got the meat and potatoes done, and then they had to figure out these between parts. They didn't do that. They just kind of put these two movies together and called it Two Evil Eyes. That's not a knock, because, quite frankly, the meat and potatoes of what you need from a good anthology horror movie are all there. I mean, these two stories are really fantastic. George is my kind of style. George is able to tell his story kind of more straight ahead, forward. What you see is kind of what you get, but he'll sprinkle in metaphors throughout his segment, which is cool with me because I'll understand these things when I'm thinking about what I saw later on, and I'm like, ooh, George, that was nice. I'd talk more about that, but I don't want to spoil this because this is worth seeing. And Dario is more visually stunning. Like I said, I'm still learning about Dario. I haven't seen a whole lot of Dario's films yet, but I'm loving what I'm seeing so far. Dario is much more visually entertaining in this, and he has a great story to work with, that's for sure. They both do have great stories. Dario's is a little bit more mystic, I guess is a word to describe it as, but fascinating nonetheless. Absolutely fascinating. Between the two, I do think I prefer George's. In the first one, well, Adrienne Barbeau, number one, is in it, and she's obviously lovely, but it's my style of horror. It's more scenario type situations with a lot of tension and build up, and while they both have that, George kind of attacks it in my style, more straight ahead. What you see is what you're gonna get, but we're gonna sprinkle in some metaphors and things like that. While Dario's is a straight ahead story, it gets a little twisty, but visually fascinating. Visually, Dario's has the edge. Now, they're two home runs for me. I love George Romero, and I'm loving Dario. Can't wait to watch more films from him. So this movie is absolutely fantastic. I really, really enjoyed it. It's going to have a lot of great replay value. Don't get me started on the soundtrack because it's phenomenal. So Blue Underground has previously released this, and I didn't even know about it. I never saw it at an FYE before, so I just never picked it up. So when I heard about this 3-disc special deluxe edition, I knew I had to get this because they've done the New York Ripper, Zombie, Maniac, and they've all been some of the greatest home releases I've ever owned. So I was expecting the same from Two Evil Eyes, and thankfully I got exactly that. On this edition, you get the main disc, which has the movie on it, a complete other disc for bonus features, and you get the soundtrack, which, trust me, it's well worth it to get the soundtrack for this movie. The picture quality on Two Evil Eyes, guys, is just remarkable. Absolutely stunning restoration, guys. It's interesting, you know, these movies, they almost look like they just got filmed. They look so good. The only thing about this movie, and it's not a complaint, it is grainy, but it just works. Because I don't know if this was shot on 16 millimeter. I don't know if that kind of gives more graininess to their film, 16 as opposed to 32. I'm not going to pretend to know, but it doesn't bother me because the picture quality is stunning on this. Good Lord. And the special features, there's more than you can shake a stick at. There's so many behind-the-scenes things, interviews. It's just so much, guys. It's ridiculous. And, of course, the third disc, like I said, is the CD soundtrack, which I just had it on a little while ago, enjoying it. There is a fascinating synth tune on here that is actually played on the menu for this. So, Two Evil Eyes, guys, you know, if I really recommend you guys getting any of the Blue Underground 3-disc limited editions because absolute stunning home run. You know, Blue Underground has just killed it with these, and I can't wait for more. I know House by the Cemetery is getting a new 4K restoration in January. You can bet your butt I will be getting that as well. This is a cult classic hit for me now. I will be rewatching this very often. This movie was so fun. While it does not have the tie-in wraparounds between them, it doesn't matter, guys, because the two stories in here are visually and story-wise home runs for me. I thought this was so fun, such a great movie, and it's a shame that there wasn't another one where George and Dario worked again, because these guys, while they're totally different, and then their movies feel very different, they really do, despite they're both Edgar Allan Poe stories, they're both absolutely fantastic. So Two Evil Eyes, guys, a great movie, and this is the release to have it on. So if you have not seen this, there is no better way to get your feet wet with this movie than this 3-disc limited collection from Blue Underground. Highly recommend you guys picking it up from Amazon or Diabolic DVD or wherever you can get this. It is stellar, and I love it. So thank you guys for watching this video. This is my review for Two Evil Eyes from Blue Underground, a fantastic release. Let me know if you guys have seen this movie or if you're planning on trying to see it, because I could not recommend this enough. You guys know I review a movie when it really moves me, and this movie did just that. So thank you guys for watching this video. Please be sure to check the description for the Teespring and the Patreon, guys. We can hear all the music I make for my channel. This is Christian Hanna. We'll see you next time.